Coming up on Half Mile of Hell.
This is what they call the show. It's every wagon guy's Stanley Cup final.
I'm pretty proud because he is the greatest competitor of all time in chuckwagon racing.
Sponsors, they help out not only sponsoring the wagon, they bring back food every night, beer and wine.
Come on, girls! Are you ready to do some chuckwagon racing tonight?
Pack up and hit the road. Ride hard and play harder. Watch your back and don't give an inch. And whatever you do, don't make a mistake. Because you're about to ride the Half Mile of Hell. A big hello to all of our out-of-town visitors. Welcome to Calgary, the greatest city on earth. And we're only one day away from the greatest outdoor show on earth, the Calgary Stampede. The city is alive with excitement, and the cowboy hats are everywhere. So get yourself geared up for the next 10 days. You can bet it's gonna be a non-stop party. Wagon drivers call it the show. It's the World Series of chuckwagon racing. The GMC Rangeland Derby, the biggest 10-day outdoor party on the planet and the richest event in chuckwagon racing. They've been running wagons in this city for over 80 years, and this is the place where the true champions are crowned. It's as big as it gets for this sport, so coming here and winning big is what it's all about.
It's every wagon guy's Stanley Cup final, so it's a pretty huge show for us. It's tough to get here. You got to go down the road to get here, qualify, and this is where it all happens.
It's the big one. It's what we prepare for every day, all year. So, you know, you can make a lot of money there. So a guy wants to go in there and be consistent and strong.
Well, all the posters say that the Calgary Stampede is the greatest outdoor show on earth. You know, there's $500,000 in prize money and there's a ton of prestige. If you win it, you're in the record books forever. And if you don't win it, if you're one of the other 35 guys, you're just an also-ran.
Calgary opens its doors to the best wagon drivers in the world. But there's only room for 36. This year, Colt Cosgrave didn't make the cut, but he's been asked to run his wagon in the demonstration each night before the races. The Cosgrave family has competed at the Stampede for many generations, and Colt will do what he can to remain a part of it this year.
Are you ready to do some chuckwagon racing tonight? Wow! You are looking good. You're sounding even better.
Calgary is one of only 2 events featuring 4 outriders per wagon instead of 2. The first outrider steadies the lead horses at the front of the wagon. When the horn sounds, 3 more at the back load the stove, the tent, and the pegs. Wagons cut a figure 8 around their barrels in the infield before heading out to race around the track. The excitement and the danger is elevated in Calgary as a total of 32 thoroughbreds spring to life for each race before a crowd of over 16,000 spectators. For this year, Colt runs solo around the track in Calgary, and we'll watch the action from the chutes.
Good evening from the 2005 Calgary Stampede's Rangeland Derby as we kick off night number 1 of the exciting 10 days of Stampede racing.
The drivers all have a common goal for Calgary. Make as much day money as you can, and by day 10, be one of the 4 wagons racing for the 50,000. So aggregate time has never been more important or the competition more intense. To make the final 4 on day 10, the top drivers need to run fast with as few penalties as possible. They call it staying clean.
1 second here is nothing. You could probably end up with 3 and still have a chance if your outfit's working. But when it gets into the 5 and the 8 second penalties, I tell you, she's a long haul back.
And there is that horn. The charge is underway. Outriders mount up, and here comes Mark Sutherland off the four-barrel.
Key is you got to go fast and you got to win. And if you want to get into the Final Four, your best chance is to stay penalty free.
Family Jason Glass, the former champion here 5 years ago, is back about 2 lengths trying to gain some ground.
The Glass family has a long line of champions at the Calgary Stampede. Jason was one of them in 2000, and this year he's determined to do it again.
I just try to focus on what I got to do as far as equipment and horses, just get everything perfect. You know, I seem to race better when I'm completely in control and have everything ready, and you can just do things slow when it comes time to hook, instead of wondering if you've missed something.
Luke Tournier is a hard man to catch when he's hot, and tonight he is hot. Jason Glass with the late charge, but he's going to run out of racetrack. Luke Tournier.
Jason has a good, clean run and will be sitting comfortably in 5th after night number 1 is completed.
And what this is doing is filling that center cap.
They call him the King. Kelly Sutherland has won the Stampede a record 10 times, and he's back to take another run at 11. Following in the family tradition is his son Mark, who is developing into one of the top drivers in the world.
Yeah, Mark's maturing, you know, he's starting to get aggressive, you know, he knows what it's like to win. If you're not aggressive and a winner and you can't win, there's no way that you can ever be a true champion.
At the barns, father and son work side by side, but when it comes to the racetrack, it's every man for himself.
Here comes Kelly Sutherland, opens him up. Ray Mitzling with a charge, and that's how they go at it, stride for stride. Ray remains like a runaway train.
I'm pretty proud because he is the greatest competitor of all time in chuckwagon racing. And if you're going to gauge yourself against somebody, you might as well gauge yourself against the 10-time champ.
Moment, here comes Mark Sutherland, the kid with a GPS on his seat. I call him the high-tech redneck. Mark Sutherland will get this one. Look at the race for second.
Kelly and Mark each win their heat on night number 1. They're off to a great start, grabbing 2nd and 3rd place overall. But the heats are about to be shuffled, and father and son will soon find themselves racing head-to-head for the next 4 nights. The spotlight is definitely on the wagon racing during Stampede. Drivers go from being small-town Alberta heroes to big city celebrities, and their sponsors take full advantage of the big crowds at Calgary. After the races each night, the public is welcomed back to the barns. The party often carries on into the wee hours.
Well, the behind the barn scene is something that the lay person doesn't get to experience, and if they ever do, it's something they talk about for the rest of their life. I've been to Fort Lauderdale before during spring break, and I know this is crazier.
It's nice that the sponsors, they help out not only sponsoring the wagon, they bring back food every night, beer and wine, plenty for 10 days, so it works out good.
At the Stampede, everything is at full tilt, both on the track and off.
Come on, girls! Come on, show us how to do it now. Give us that Calgary show.
This is our beer fridge. We usually got about 50 people come back every night and go through the horses and sign some autographs, and give some pins out and stuff. It's lots of fun.
The fun at the barns is great exposure for the drivers, their sponsors, and the sport. But will all the distractions affect performances on the track? It's day 2 at the GMC Rangeland Derby. Yet another big day for rookie outrider Chad Fike. It's his first Stampede, and tonight he makes his first ride with the man who helped train him, driver Jim Nevada.
He's way better than I thought he'd be after I seen him in the spring, but he's doing pretty good. He's pretty cool, calm, collected.
The crowd is bigger than I've ever seen, but I try not to think about that when I go out into the infield. It's just do my job and try and be as calm as possible. And
if you don't do the job, he's gone. It's pretty simple. But we'll give him a go here, see what he does.
Jim Nevada turned in a good performance a week ago in Ponoka, but he's off to a slow start in Calgary. He already has a 1-second penalty from night number 1, And now the pressure is on with a rookie outrider in the lineup.
Nevada at the ready, waiting for that horn. They jumped on him. Tough luck. That's going to cost them a second in false start. They couldn't wait any longer. Somebody wasn't set.
High-strung thoroughbreds, hungry to run, will only stand still for so long. It's another blow to Jim's aggregate time before the race even starts.
Right-hand leader just took a rear, and then the wheel team punched her, so we got a 1 second starting at false start.
After a false start, the driver rounds the barrels and resets his horses for another shot. But the team has misfired. Their spark likely gone for a second try.
Heat number 8 as the horn sounds and the charge is underway. Flying start for all 4 outfits.
Finally, Nevada lets his horses go to work. But this heat has left a bruise on more than just his ego.
And 10 pigs hit me right in the butt.
It appears Chad Fike was giving it all he's got.
Well, at least you know they're in there when they hit you in the ass.
Jim Nevada in behind, and all the barrels are up. That looks good.
The redraw from night number 1 has Nevada racing wheel to wheel with a determined Jason Glass.
Moving it up with Jim Nevada because they want to catch that Red Johnstone out there who's been on a tear. Jim Nevada with a late charge. Jason Glass too little, too late. Wire to wire with his wheels on fire. Red Johnstone is the man with the time.
It's a good run for Nevada. Even with the 1 second penalty, he moves up 2 spots to 15th overall. His rookie protege registers a flawless first ride at the Stampede. Jason Glass moves a notch closer to the top of the standings, grabbing 4th place. It's been the talk around the barns all day. The redraw matches Mark and Kelly Sutherland in the same heat for the next 4 nights.
Well, everyone makes a big deal out of racing against Dad here for me, and don't get me wrong, it is a big deal because he is the guy to beat, and if I cross the finish line and I look back and he's back there somewhere, well, I had a pretty damn good race.
I think it's probably every father's dream to race against his son. You know, he grew up, he's watched me, I guess, and he couldn't study the sport. He's a little different than me. He's a little calmer and a little cooler.
When we talk about horse strategies, we talk just as if we're not in each other's race. I tell him what I'm driving. We worked side by side. Not only did he train the driver, he trained the horses too, so.
He's a lot nicer person, guaranteed. He's a lot more like his mom. I always felt that the only thing that made me successful was my killer instinct. I mean, there's no second place.
With that said, I sure as hell ain't gonna give him an easy trip if he's on the outside of me. He's gonna get the same trip that anyone else is because I have to win that race if I want to accomplish my goal, which is to be a champion.
Heat number 9, the last of the night. It's usually the fastest group of wagons, and all eyes will be on a father and son about to duel it out. Mark and Kelly Sutherland train together throughout the season. They share their horses and their strategies. But for the next 4 nights at the Calgary Stampede, father and son will be head-to-head rivals when they hit the track. Running side by side in the same heat, there's room for only one Sutherland to be the winner.
Horn sounds and the charge is underway. They're off in a hurry. Mark Sutherland's looking good on that. Oh, he tagged the top of 4 barrel KO.
Mark gambles and loses. In an effort to get to the track first, he cuts too close to the top barrel and takes a crushing 5-second penalty. In an instant, it shoots him from 3rd to 26th overall.
Kelly Sutherland dropping back in that red shirt. Sandwiched in the middle, his son Mark Sutherland to the extreme outside.
With Mark no longer a threat in this heat, Kelly sets his sights on Luke Tournier, the only man sitting between him and the top of the overall standings.
Luke Tournier on the inside, Kelly Sutherland right alongside, and out on the very outside is Ray Mitzling as they duel it out. Mark Sutherland Sutherland in behind. Luke Bernier opens him up and not. Here comes Kelly Sutherland flying. Has he got enough speed? I don't think so. Luke Bernier, Kelly Sutherland, right mid-swing. Oh, Kelly may have got him by a nose if he did it.
It's why they call him the King. Kelly Sutherland steals the heat away from Luke Tournier and holds on to his second-place aggregate position. But his good run is overshadowed by Mark's penalty. Back at the barns, Kelly resumes his role as a mentor, and the air is tight with tension.
Now it's not the time to gamble. Not game too much. You can't gamble. Well, it worked 10 times this year. The left throw's good charge. Well, he's dug himself a hole, there's no doubt about it, but I told him I hit 2 for 50,000. I locked myself in a room for about 4 to 8 hours after, so the most important thing is he's got to learn. You learn. You don't gamble early, you gamble late. That's the first time these horses haven't just done it perfect for, 10 trips, so I made a mistake and it's going to prove to be pretty costly, I'm sure. He's got outside shot at ever making the finals because he's got a lot of run, but that's probably what he's thinking. He's got to gamble now. 8 more days of running.
It's a high-profile event with big-time pressure. Keeping your cool in Calgary for 10 full days and knowing when to gamble are skills that only the legends have truly mastered. Jim Nevada has taken penalties 2 nights in a row, so there is little wonder that on day 3, he is keeping a low profile before the races.
Sat in the trailer and played a little Xbox. You want the truth? Oh, I just had to do a little thinking on horses. Nobody around, it was just great. Hit, one of them good days.
Nevada has to be on his game tonight to save any hopes of making it into the Final 4. Over at the glass camp, Jason is fighting another kind of battle.
He just gets really bad sinus, I think just from inhaling dust and dirt and being around the horses and everything, and he just started to feel like he was getting a cold. It's just probably lack of sleep, stress, not eating well, drinking.
What's the prescription today?
Well, echinacea.
Probably strychnine.
And spray some...
Trying to put me down. I never take care of myself as good as I should. I seem to lose about 20 pounds every summer. I start out at 200 and I end up at like 175 or so. Well, I got allergies of some sort. I got to get that figured out in the wintertime, I guess. But mentally, you got to just be there and get the job done.
Jason is holding steady at 4th overall, but he has to stay strong and healthy to maintain it, especially tonight. He's up against Nevada, a man with his back against the ropes.
Well, it's 7:30 and the excitement is about to start here. Good evening from the 2005 Calgary Stampede Rangeland Derby. This will be night number 3, and of course, as always, we'll have 9 heats, and the fastest wagons from the aggregate times of the first 2 nights will appropriately be in the final heats.
They are both running in heat number 8. Jason Glass and Jim Nevada prepare to go at it again.
There's the horde in there off. Good start. Jason Glass on that 4-barrel. Reg Johnstone out alongside of him. And here comes Neil Wolgen by light. Oh, we've got some problems. Jim Nevada's hold up in the infield. His team jackknifed on him. He's got all kinds of problems.
They say 3rd time lucky, but not for Jim Nevada. For some reason, his team jackknifes around the 1st barrel and completely stalls. He takes a no time. It's as good as a death sentence to a driver's aggregate time. Nevada plummets to the very bottom of the standings.
Breathing on him, and he is charging hard. Jason Glass follows in behind. He wants to stay. You can't pass what you can't catch.
Back on the track, Jason Glass might be in better shape than Nevada, but he has 2 wagons in front of him.
Jason Glass says, I'll never give up. I'm going to try him, but he's going to run out of racetrack. Rex Johnstone wins it by 3/4. Neil Moles in on. Jason Glass rolls in, and Jim Nevada, there you see him pulled up in the infield with his jackknife outfit. A disappointed cowboy right there.
One day you're hot and you're running 3 wide and you win your race in Pinoca, and then you come to Calgary and you mess up. And it just hurts here. All the limelight's on you, like you say, and all the people are watching, and you're trying to do your best for your sponsors and run your best. You have good luck and you've had. I've had 3 days of bad luck. Maybe it's over and then I can get some stuff figured out.
Jason Glass finishes last in the heat, but he stays clean. And it's good enough to keep him in the top 5 of the overall standings.
The race went well. It was a really fast heat I was in. I'm pretty comfortable with how I'm driving, you know, what horses on what barrels, so I don't want to mess around too much with anything.
Back at the Nevada barn, Jim goes looking for answers. Was it driver error or something else?
Yeah, it was just a $2 buckle that broke, and it just slid through the buckle. Yeah. We had about 1.5 foot extra left-hand lead line that when I pulled, it just pulled, but the only thing it would do is turn the right leader, wouldn't turn the left one, and when you're going left, you got to turn the left horse. So this was
a $2 buckle has just cost Jim $50,000. Now all he can do for the remainder of the Stampede is focus on winning day money. For the next 2 days, the races continue to thrill capacity crowds at the Calgary Stampede. Mark Sutherland has an impressive run on day 4, nosing in ahead of his father. But on day 5, he suffers yet another penalty. His battle against the clock continues. Kelly Sutherland holds steady at 5th position with consistent runs each night. And Jason Glass remains focused and clean, hovering in around 7th place overall. Following the races on night number 5, there's another redraw that shuffles the heats. Amid the nighttime party atmosphere, drivers and outriders scramble to reorganize their teams. They prepare for the second half of the Calgary Stampede and the richest day in wagon racing. Coming soon on Half Mile of Hell.
Wait your whole life to be sitting right here, right now. It's awesome. Nothing else like it in the world.
Well, a couple years ago, a woman bought him, and she thought she bought him for sex.
Little Ray pulls, drops in, and Jimmy stuck them in between Ray and the rail.
My leaders are like this, my wheelers, I had to bring him over.
What are you doing with the camera?
Looks like everybody's getting a promotion.
Now down here, right?
No, not to me, Ricky. I'll break your camera.
I tell you to get lost.
He'll be in Hollywood next year.
Give me that camera.